Got a package. Okay. Let's do this.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the Street Epistemology Survey, and it consists of 4 different sections. Each section has 6 questions. So we might not get to all of them. So it's mostly just kind of a prompt, like what I'll ask the question, you say strongly agree to strongly disagree, or anywhere in between. So you could do a scale of 1 to 5, okay, or just say strongly agree. And then
one is strongly disagree, 5 is strongly agree. Or
yeah, okay, let's say that.
Okay.
I should have emailed it to you first so you could go through it and answer beforehand, but we'll just talk about it and then you tell me your thoughts. Okay, so the first section is entitled, "What is truth?" Ooh. So these are just like questions about truth in general and how different people define truth. Okay, number 1, a statement is true when it corresponds with reality. Strongly agree, strongly disagree, anywhere in between. I'll say it again. A statement is true when it corresponds with reality.
5, strongly agree.
Okay, I'm going to write it on the paper. So that's a 5, strongly agree. Number 2, we all share the same reality and only interpret it differently.
Strongly disagree. Oh wait, share the reality.
We all share the same reality and only interpret it differently.
That's a tough one. I can't say strongly disagree because reality is reality. It's the all that is. Interpretation and experience is how we dance with reality. So it's going to be different for everyone.
Yeah, just talk it out, think it through out loud. Okay. And it's okay to change your mind or change your answer at any time. It's just kind of a thought experiment, thought.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, ask the question again.
Yeah. We all share the same reality and only interpret it differently. So our reality is all the same, but the way we interpret it, each person has their own interpretation of what's going on or what's perceived.
I'm going to go with 5, strongly agree, because it's perception that varies, but reality just is, period.
It just is. Yeah. I think I'd say 5 on that one too. Okay. Truth depends on the opinions and beliefs of people.
1 or 0.
Truth depends on the opinions and beliefs of people. Strongly disagree? What? There's no 0 on the scale, but if there was, you would pick 0?
Yeah.
Okay, truth depends on. Why is that, you think?
Because a lot of people think they're arbiters of truth. And I like the last question, I think the only thing is their perceptions that vary, and perceptions can go all over the place, and perceptions actually have nothing to do with truth. They can be indicators and guide us to a better understanding of truth, but it's still perception.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, number 4. People create words and define their meanings. People create words and define the meanings.
5. Yes.
Who else would create words? I don't know. Animals? It seems like an obvious one. So yeah. I don't know. A statement is true if everyone agrees on it.
1.
A statement is true if everyone agrees on it.
Strongly disagree.
This one's interesting. A strong belief, even without action, can change external reality. Let me say it again.
1.
A strong belief, even without action, can change external reality. So just believing in something strongly can change reality.
It all comes down to actions. So I'd say 1.
1. Okay, cool. Okay, now we're in section 2. How does belief work? So question 1 in section 2 is some beliefs should never be questioned.
1.
Should some beliefs never be questioned? 1. Okay. Someone can be certain something is true, but still be mistaken. Can someone be certain it's true, but still be mistaken?
5.
Yeah.
Strongly agree.
Do you run across that much?
Absolutely.
Up in Idaho? I see that pretty
Just
regularly in Salt Lake City.
being among humans.
Yeah.
That's why I love diving into this. It's like, this is, there's so many
Yeah.
people, that don't see that truth is separate than their beliefs.
Right. And when I was talking to the missionaries the other week, they're like, well, I just know it's true. I am 100% convicted that it's true. So it is true.
Wow.
Like, really? That's interesting. Tell me more.
You're very powerful.
Okay.
You're creating truth.
Yeah, that's how that works, huh? Okay, number 3, we should be satisfied with a test that can only confirm our claim. I love this question too.
1.
We should be satisfied with a test. So like if you're testing a belief or a claim that you have, but the only solution you can ever get is in the positive, to confirm it is true.
Truth does not care about your opinion or your beliefs. So 1.
Yeah. So we should not be satisfied with a test that can only confirm our claim.
Not if we care about aligning with truth and being wise and right.
Yeah, see, that's not one of the questions on here, but on a scale of 1 to 5, again, like how important is it to you as a person to believe true things?
Yeah, some people don't care, obviously. Yeah.
Mhm.
And why is that? It's cowardice and weakness, I think. Like, why do you not care? You want to live in a fairy tale land. You want to stay a childlike in your development.
Mhm.
They just
I
don't
think
see it.
I think it's comfort. They value comfort over truth. And it would be very uncomfortable to dig into those beliefs. So it's better just to let that slide. That's my opinion.
The most difficult words in the human language are "I was wrong."
I love finding out when I'm wrong. I'm like, oh, now I know better.
Yeah.
I was wrong about that. Tell me more. Yeah. Oh, well, okay. 4.
Yeah.
If all members of a society share a belief, they are justified to hold that belief.
1.
Yeah, we see that a lot too. Okay, number 5. Believing something that is false feels just like believing something that is true.
Feels.
Believing something that is false feels just like believing something that is true.
Ooh, I like that question because feelings are funny. Feels. I'm going to say no because or like 1, strongly disagree because oh shoot, now I'm like really questioning my language because I want to say I want to believe that
it makes you think.
Intuition that can align with truth. And do I believe that? I could never prove that. But there is such thing as feeling confident and good and in alignment about a certain truth or principle. So there is something that does involve feelings.
Yes. What is that?
Yeah.
Does believing something that is false feel, because you've believed false things in the past, does that feel the same as it does to believe true things in your recollection and experience? Because remember how it used to feel, how convicted and how strong it felt when you we're active LDS.
It doesn't feel the same. That it doesn't feel the same. Can you say the question again? I'm
Yeah.
like, not sure how to.
I know. That's why I love these questions, because they're like, wait. Okay. Believing something that is false feels just like believing something that is true.
I will say a 1 on that, because there are differences. Okay. But I am looking into how feeling relates to truth. Okay. But that's right. For another, yeah.
And like the last question that says your conviction, just because you believe it strongly doesn't mean was that one of the questions? Something with conviction doesn't mean it's true either, right?
Yeah, that's a 5. I strongly agree. Just because you believe it doesn't make it true.
But you don't think, let me just make sure I am understanding. You don't think believing a false thing would feel the same as believing a true thing?
I'm going to say, yeah, I don't think I think there's definitely fuzzy things. It depends on like where you're at in your life. Because, like with Mormonism, believing in that, it was very easy to believe it because it also fulfilled a human need of being accepted. And it feels good to be accepted. So if I go along with that belief, I'm also in alignment with other areas of my life, and I can kind of just stay in a slumber for that much longer because my needs are met.
Right. So but doesn't that feel the same, or what's different about
what's different is
believing?
Things like depression will start to creep up, or things like just like being unsatisfied with the answers you're given. There's just a discomfort when you dig deeper in your quote beliefs, and it's not aligned with truth. It starts to get uncomfortable. And I think that's why there are a lot of depressed people that are trying so hard to align with what they believe is true, and then it's not actually in alignment with truth. So I think that it creates discord.
Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between believing in the feeling.
Yeah.
But you don't know it's false, but you believe it. But the feeling is different because it's false. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the feeling's different. Like there's something missing in your life,
even though you don't know it's false.
You don't know. Yeah. And that's why I think there's a lot of people on antidepressants and people that have like really extreme addictions when they're clinging to a belief set so strongly. There's like other outlets of their life or their soul that I feel like are seeking expression. And I think that's when it almost becomes deviant or just like discordant. There's like a discordance, a discomfort, or a depression in their lives. I think that's how it starts to express.
Yeah. Do you think that's always the case? Like if somebody believes in voodoo, like voodoo magic or something, like something kind of wacky?
It's not always the case because like everybody's biochemical and brain makeup is different. And I think some people can, like sociopaths, they're different maybe than the average human. I think they can actually create belief sets and a framework of reality that they feel complete peace and comfort in believing in complete bullshit. So, but for me,
totally fine with it. Yeah.
For me, for you, people, I think it does express as depression or some sort of addiction that is not really good for you.
Yeah. Okay. I get that. Yeah. Okay. Last question in this section. Feelings are a reliable way to discover truth. Agree? Disagree?
I'd say
feelings are a reliable way to discover truth.
Feelings. I would say they do a dance. It's the best way I can describe it, with logic. And I think when those two are in alignment, your logic and your feelings, I think when those feel in harmony, then I think it could be an indicator of truth. But feelings are not enough alone.
Right. So you can't base this is what you're saying. You can't base like say, this is true because I feel it's true. That's not enough.
It has to be based in something that's logical and measurable.
So the earth is flat because I feel really strongly that it's flat isn't enough.
No.
Okay. Just checking. Okay, when should we believe? Next section. We're
Ooh.
going through this so fast. This is so good. Okay, believing something without evidence is admirable.
1. No way.
Without evidence, yeah. Without an explanation for something, any answer is better than no answer.
1.
You'd be surprised how many people are like, oh yeah, if you don't know, pick something. I mean, because that's better than not knowing.
That's terrible. Yeah.
But think back, like, didn't you used to think you had all the answers
Yes, that is the
at one
most
point?
frightening thing ever. It would have kept me like spiritually like an infant. I don't even
Yeah.
know, or as a human, it feels, yeah, so restrictive.
Like, how many people will just make up an answer instead of saying, I don't know? Like a
Right?
lot, right?
Their ego. That's where that ego
Yeah.
thing comes in.
It's
Hold
it's
back.
to be like, well, you left the church. Well, now what? Like, where do we go after we die? I don't know.
Let's make something.
I'm not going to make something up because you want an answer. Okay. It's okay to accept something as true because it is comforting. Oh yeah, this is
1.
can you accept something as true because it is comforting?
It
1.
doesn't make it true. No.
I give all claims the benefit of the doubt when I first encounter them. So if somebody makes a claim to you, you say, okay, yeah, I believe that,
Well, you say
or
all claims
not.
because sometimes I will not entertain it if right away it's just so far from my understanding of how I think truth works. So I'd say 1. But with that
1.
said, I think we actually gain in wisdom by being open. But I mean, some things just feel so ridiculous. I don't really want to give my time and energy to it because it's just
What if
complete.
it feels ridiculous, but it might be right?
Then I could spend a lot of time listening and considering everything that comes my way. And I think that would be unrealistic to do that. So there is a sorting and finding.
You wouldn't automatically write it off, is what you're saying. Right from the beginning.
I wouldn't. I mean, I'd have to, yeah. I mean, I'm a good listener if somebody wants to run things past me, but if it's just so far from the framework I'm building, as far as what I'm starting to align with as truth, then I will dismiss it because I don't give
So
any.
it would depend on the claim, right? Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
What the claim the person is making.
Which now I'm seeing does mean I have a belief framework, which is fine. Because I think that's how we operate in this world. We must create a framework. Otherwise, it just feels like we need some sort of structure. I don't know. We can get into that later. Because now you're
okay, a hypothetical. If somebody comes up to you and says, I have a fairy in a shoebox and I keep it under my bed, would you believe them? Or like, what would you think about that person's claim?
Step 2 would just be to provide evidence. I would go that far because that's a pretty crazy claim. I shouldn't say crazy, but yeah.
But if they said, I got a new pet kitten, would you believe that?
Yeah, I've seen kittens. I've known kittens. I know that's a thing. I know there's a whole bunch of them. It's very easy for me to believe based on my own personal. Yeah.
Because it happens all the time. It's regular. It's not an extraordinary claim. But if they claim to have a fairy in a box,
all I need to do is see it and play with it, and like it'd be great if I could touch it, and no Photoshop.
A different standard of evidence would be needed, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
For that one, yeah.
Just checking. Just trying to clarify here. Okay. Someone is justified in their beliefs until they are proven wrong.
Justified. I'd say 1. I don't owe any justification to anything. And like, I don't need to
Yeah.
sit and prove something. If it's not true, it's not true. And yeah.
So if your friend comes up to you and says, I have a fairy in a box under my bed, are they justified in believing that?
Are they justified?
Until they're proven wrong. I guess you could say, well, let's go look in the box under your bed and see if there is one there. And then there's a box and you pull it out and it's empty. And she says, it's invisible.
Okay. Justification. So I look at that as like justification, like what is moral or amoral, or what is true or not true.
Yeah, just good reasons to hold that belief until they're proven wrong.
I don't feel like anybody deserves any justification for anything unless they can it depends on what it is. This is something, this is like scary, like a claim, like this exists. Now, if you're observing patterns, that's something else, because like patterns of behavior. So to me, there's another approach to this. So I don't want to like give an absolute.
Right. A lot of it's circumstantial, and like, do they have mental disorders like that? You need to.
Yeah, that too. I say no justification is granted on my side of things.
Yeah, I think the question is just saying, can people believe whatever they want? You know it's false, but they're justified, like it's okay.
Oh, no, I'd say it's not okay. I don't accept
unless they're proven wrong. So they say, Mormonism is true. Well, you can't prove it's not true. So I'm going to keep believing it until you prove to me. I mean, there actually is a lot of justification to prove Mormonism wrong, or to a lot of evidence against the truth of Mormonism.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could prove it wrong. Yeah, go ahead.
I think everyone's free to explore and to make claims, but as far as like applying justification and like, what is that? That's like a judgment on them though. I just say anything that's out of alignment with truth, which we can't always put our finger on. That's the funny thing, would be unjustified in some way. I would say I'm leaning towards it's not justified. Do I need to answer it with a number?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
That makes sense what you're saying.
Yeah. It feels wrong to go deep into something that's not true, and then to be around somebody that keeps going deeper with it. I just wouldn't want to give my time and attention to that person. And maybe that feels like it's just not justified. So maybe that's how I answer that. Maybe it's
well, and people can hold beliefs that they just want to believe because of the comfort issue. Yeah, this belief brings me comfort, and you can't prove it's wrong. So I'm just gonna believe that if I pray to unicorns every day, I will be guided, whatever. Right. You can't prove there's no unicorns, so it's okay if I hold on to this.
Yeah.
Even though there's no justification, there's no reason for that belief to be held. Okay. Delusion. 6, the most important criteria for my beliefs is that they match reality. So for you, how important is it to you for your beliefs to match reality?
5. Okay. Strongly agree. It takes courage.
Yeah.
And it takes humility. And it takes continually shedding old beliefs and then questioning new ones. It's like layer upon layer. It takes, humility.
Yeah, like an onion, huh?
And like, and then courage. It takes courage, because a lot of times you lose your community. A lot of times your ego takes the hit, so yeah.
Well, just like you were saying earlier, to admit that you're wrong about something, that's hard to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody wants to. It doesn't feel good to be wrong. We like being right and knowing things and having a surety. Yeah. You don't always get that. Okay. When should we change our mind? The last section. Okay. 1, I often investigate beliefs that do not match my own.
5.
You do that a lot?
Mm-hmm.
You look at like, how do you do that?
Let me think. Well, I already believe the two-party political system is ridiculous, and I like looking into why we're being manipulated and breaking, like why society breaks things into teams, like why is there's like this competitive thing. So that is something fun for me to explore. And one way to do that is to go deep into the 2 teams, right? Or the 4 teams, whatever is presented. How else do I do that? I play in the marketplace of ideas. I like to be around people that are different.
Can we go back to that last thing you said real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on to what you were just thinking.
Okay.
We'll come back to that. So you do research about the 2 teams and the 2-party system, like politically? Is that what you mean?
Well,
like
Republican,
Democrat dynamics?
Yeah, as far as like this culture and this time period, right? A lot of the collective is spoon-fed like streams of thought, and they're getting the information from all kinds of places. And I feel like it's deliberately being seeded in the collective consciousness to create discord. And one of the ways—
on both sides?
On both sides, yeah. I think people are operating unconsciously. I think people that know like what we're talking about, they know how human belief works and how like cognitive dissonance works and how the ego works. People that get like, they don't want to be threatened. I find all that fascinating. I'm like super into like reading about mind control right now.
Yeah, I love that too.
Yeah, so I don't know that, am I going into exploring other beliefs, or am I just super fascinated like you are about like how beliefs work in general? So
yeah,
maybe
how people form their beliefs.
Yeah.
So do you look at the other side as in the 2-party system is good? How the benefits of the 2-party system, like, because that would be the opposing view to the
exactly
2-party system is not good.
Okay. That is something interesting, because maybe that's what I need to explore next, is like why social engineers believe they need to control people that way. Like maybe they think the collective is too stupid to really operate aside from parties, and like to really operate in what ideally I would like to see is people operating from their principles, which this is where
what does collective mean? When you say the collective, what does that mean?
So if we like it or not, we experience our life. Yeah, we experience our lives among other humans, and the beliefs of those humans affect our life experience. And if I don't believe COVID is a huge threat, for example, but yet the collective does, then here I am now operating in a reality where my daughter has to show up at school and cover her face and obstruct her breathing. And that I find to be not the healthiest approach to dealing with this thing they got, this pandemic, they say.
Who is the collective? Is the collective the media, or?
So I look at it like, the collective is the aggregate of human beliefs, which is creating our reality that I have no choice but to interact with. So when I go to the store, when we deal with the schools, when I go about my life, I am doing the dance with other human beings. And I'm doing the dance and doing life with them and their belief sets.
Is that society? Is the collective just like the society you interact with?
So yeah, that's your environment and it's the society. Okay. And I think when I say collective, I am specifically talking about the human collective, not the dog collective or the ant collective or the bees, because the bees work as a collective to build the hive and to protect the queen, right? And the humans work as a collective on a different level, and we do our own thing. So
like that's the social aspect of human interaction is the collective. I'm just trying to understand so I can
no, I love that you're asking. It's more than the social interaction. It's also what we do with what I consider our most valuable currency, which is not money. It's our time and attention. So what the collective, i.e. all the humans on this planet are doing with their time and attention, that will affect me. It's not every interaction, like it's, the coffee shop buying a coffee and then it doesn't go, we smile at each other and I get a coffee and there's money exchange. It's more than that. It's also like, what are they building, and even literally building, or how are they developing communities, and all these things. The human collective is being influenced because of the beliefs, and I have to interact within this collective. And I think that's why I'm drawn, and a lot of people are drawn to healing ourselves, but we also feel very motivated to heal others, because that makes our experience a whole lot better. And if you have everybody walking around with beliefs that are not aligned with truth or reality, then we have this weird discordant shit show to deal with, and it's exhausting. So that's how
okay. Yeah. I'm still a little fuzzy on what the collective is exactly. Is the collective a group of people who has differing belief system than you have, or is it all the belief systems combined, or is it a matter of power?
Yeah, it's a general term of how humans are operating, which includes their thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and actions. That's the collective. And if it's based on, if a lot of it, which I believe right now, is not aligned with truth and reality, then we have a lot of problems. It becomes discordant, because you have people believing bullshit that doesn't really help to move any real things forward. So that's why I seek to not only get in alignment with truth myself, but to help support a human experience that is aligned with truth.
Would you say there's two collectives then? Are there two groups, one that cares about truth and one that is deceived by something else they think is truth? Or are these collectives work together, or are some people out of the collective?
So this is
I'm just trying to figure out the dynamic of the bigger picture,
This is where I go into what might look at like belief. I believe that we all have souls. I think there's some sort of divine energy that expresses through matter, that is organized and expresses itself as a human or a flower or a plant. I think that is calling us to harmony, because that's what I observe in nature.
Okay, wait, pause for 1 second.
Sure.
I love what you just said there. That's really cool. Okay, so we all have souls, and that's what creates the harmony and the connection.
I think there is I think there's an ideal expression, and this might just be belief, but it's what I am observing in nature. So there's some energy that comes in through a seed and interacts with matter and transforms into a flower or a tree. Okay. So to me, there's some sort of divine expression happening with energy or a soul or whatever is this unique frequency of the flower is coming through. And I think
can we do another interview on that topic?
Sure.
Specifically? Okay, because that would be really interesting to dive deep into that. In not in relation to the survey, but just as a claim on its own or as a particular belief. I think that would be super interesting.
I can tie it back to the collective though. I think there is a divine unfoldment that is available to us when things are in alignment. And by alignment, I mean,
see, all of these words need definitions in my mind.
Okay.
Divine unfoldment,
in harmony,
energy.
In harmony with, I don't want to say God, I could say God, in harmony with whatever this mysterious divine expression seeks to manifest. So I believe there's harmony and discord. And I think that
there's 10 words I need definitions to now.
Well, okay.
I love this. This is awesome. Yeah. Thanks for doing this.
Great.
Yeah. And if you have to go or, you get bored, let me know.
No, I'm good. Okay. But I think humans can operate in a much healthier way. And I think we have the support of an unseen force. And I cannot prove it in many ways, but I will say I think it's also proven, maybe proven is too strong of a word. I think the pattern can be recognized by observing our reality and observing a plant that has the right environment grows really beautifully and healthily, and a plant that is growing in an environment without the right sun, soil, and resources, that will not be as healthy. And I think on the human level, that's expressed through how many of us in this collective, humans on this planet, are aligning with truth, and then how many are aligning with falsehood. And I think that's making us, the majority seem to be very comfortable aligning with falsehood, and I think that's making us a very dysfunctional species on this planet. So I know I'm going into a lot of beliefs and all that, but it's just what I'm
But you kind of have to. Yeah. It's all interconnected.
Yes.
So I was going to try to ask I forget what I was going to ask. I got so wrapped up in what you were saying there.
You're like, I need a definition of this. I need a definition of that.
I know. Let's go back 10 steps here.
Hold on one second.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to ask.
Yes.
When you are looking for patterns or you find patterns, that is like the evidence that you're using, right?
The patterns. Okay. So I guess that would be the closest thing to evidence, observing patterns.
Yeah. Okay, because you see the same thing is repeatable and it's happening over and over.
Yeah.
Like a pattern. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what I was thinking earlier. Okay. Let's get to the next question. Is that okay? Or do you have you want to add more to that?
I'm good.
Okay. Next question. We kind of already went over this. I'm comfortable with saying I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know.
1.
Disagree? You agree?
No, right? I mean 5. Sorry.
5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Strongly agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
you don't care. You don't mind saying I don't know. If you don't know, you say I don't know.
Okay. I'm very good at that.
3. It's beneficial to find out when I am wrong about something.
5. It's not always fun, but it is beneficial.
Beneficial, yeah. Doesn't say it's fun to find out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's embarrassing. Okay. 4. I will abandon a belief if I discover reliable information that falsifies it. I'll say that I jack that up. Yeah. I will abandon a belief if I discover reliable information that falsifies it.
5.
5. Next question is, the more unusual the statement, the stronger the evidence needs to be. I guess it's kind of like the fairy in the box versus the kitten.
The more unusual. Well, that means I haven't had direct experience with it. So yeah that means they need to keep it up. So
just as a statement, the more unusual the statement, the stronger the evidence needs to be.
Yeah, in my opinion, doesn't mean like truth is still truth, but yeah.
Right. I mean, it might be a totally unusual, outrageous claim, and it might be 100% true.
Yeah.
And there might be no way to prove it even, or to even have any evidence, but it still might be true.
Yeah, it goes back to the fairy versus the kitten claim. So I'm going to need more evidence for the fairy and less evidence for the kitten. So
yeah. And are you going to automatically believe the fairy just based on a statement?
No. Yeah.
Even if it's important.
I think there's validity to our experience and our observations. That's like another level of validation, is our direct experience. There's a
now what? Okay, this is not on the question, but like, what if somebody said, I have a fairy in a shoebox under my bed, and if you believe it, I'll give you $10 million. And if you don't believe it, you owe me $10 million.
I would not play that game.
Not playing that hypothetical.
I'd be like, good luck with that. Find someone else. I'd probably win the money though.
Would you actually believe it though?
No, my belief has nothing to do with what is real.
Could you act convincingly enough that you do believe it, even if you didn't believe it?
I think I'm pretty good at that. I could probably do that.
I guess it depends on like, is it a whole lifestyle change? Like, do I have to, like, if I believe it, what do I have to change in my life to make it convincing?
Yeah.
Like if you equate it to Mormonism again, like if you choose to believe this or even pretend to believe it, you're going to have to change a lot of things in your life.
Oh, you're right. Everything would shift. Like all your other beliefs would shift.
But then you get $10 million if you pretend well enough. But then there's what? I don't want to owe the money.
That's a good, I mean, it sounds absurd, but like that is actually mirrored in the scenario people find themselves with their beliefs. That would,
Right. And it becomes so important that you do lose community, you do lose family members, you do lose your sanity.
Well, you become sane, but like the framework of what is sane and stable gets collapsed. But I think that's the beginnings of becoming sane, which is weird.
And I always wonder,
are insane.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a fine line sometimes.
The sane ones are very small minority on this planet.
Yeah, but doesn't it make you wonder, like, how many people are just really strongly pretending to believe, or they want to believe, so they're acting like they believe?
That's why I love that term, cognitive dissonance. Once I learned about that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's built into their belief program.
Yeah.
A freaking wall that cuts
too
off
scared not to believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's,
the stakes are too high to not believe.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's interesting.
It is. Yeah.
This is the last questions. It is possible that some of my beliefs that I hold right now are not true.
5. Yes.
Yeah. Same. Well, like everybody. But I want to know.
I want to know. Again, it takes courage, which a lot of people don't have, and humility.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the super interested about that's all the questions. Yeah, so thanks for going through those with me. There's you don't pass or fail or anything.
Yeah,
just kind of a thought experiment about thinking about truth and what is truth and why believe what we believe. But I want to get into, like, we don't have to do it tonight, but another time, into the collective and the souls and the spirit, or whatever you said, and the connection with the higher power or creator, or like all of that. Would you be okay doing that sometime?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll just, I'll give you my perspective. And I think really it comes down to pattern recognition. And so I guess that would be the repeatable evidence for beliefs. But again, I'm still grasping at my own language for understanding how to describe what is ultimately energy, similar to describing the differences in wine, or the differences in the smell, or the differences in how a song makes you feel. It's like you got to come up with a language, and I love exploring that.
The words. Yeah. And that's what I think street epistemology is really good for, is you can kind of say the words out loud, and then you end up understanding your own beliefs better. And like, maybe I don't have a good reason, or maybe actually here is the reason. This is what I was trying to say, but I didn't quite get it out right. But now that I've thought about it more, this makes more sense. And here's a better way to describe it.
I think that's so important. And that's how I'm so excited to like move into the future, is like unpack what has really happened with our language, because these are words, some of them are based in Latin. And if you understand like the Latin roots, you're like, oh my God, they meant this word to mean this. And it's quite different now. It's like almost inverted in a lot of ways. And
and then just like socially, words, the meaning of words changes as usage changes. It's pretty interesting. So
and so I think we say things and we use words and we say we believe them, but it's not accurate. So
what are we?
If you think about words, and words in general, it's like before the word comes the thought. The thought doesn't have any words associated it. So we're just pulling from this bag of things that we got from the collective or from the environment. And a lot of them have been manipulated, or just they're not it means. And then here we are trying to describe beliefs, but it's
Right.
So yeah, no, that's a great second discussion.
Yeah, and how many of us just accept the words that were told to us during our childhood, particularly? Like, we don't question what these words actually mean. We just repeat them back, and it just becomes this echo chamber of repeating the same words back to each other. And it just sounds so nice. And there's no cognitive dissonance in that. It all feels lovely, and we're all believing the same things. But once you like step out of that and you're like, wait, what did I just say? Did I mean that? Does that what I actually mean? I don't know. Let's get into that. Or am I
just repeating something that is just sounded nice from somewhere? It was my mom's voice, my dad's voice, or my church, or the television. Yeah. It's like, is that
is that your own personal belief, or is it just, are you saying the words you've heard?
Are you parroting? Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the question.
So anyways, that's super cool. Yeah, thanks for participating. This is really interesting.
Yeah.
And I could tell you've given a lot of thought and put a lot of effort into this already. So
I do.
Which is what I was hoping for. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay.
Right here. Yeah, thanks.